Hi everyone, now I'm going to be tying a nymph pattern called the Holy Grail. Now, it's going to be the very first one, though to be honest with you I have tied beads as a thorax before and put hackles in front and such like, but I've never actually tied the actual Holy Grail pattern, so I'm going to be tying it the best I can. Now what I've got here, this is a size 18, it's always tied on a grub shaped type hook. The Czech Nymph I'm going to be using, this is the heavy version, size 18, it's the black nickel, it's a nice hook. The bead, this is a 2mm tungsten bead in gold, as you can see. Thread I'm going to be using, basically just to go with it, it's basically a pheasant tail I'm going to be tying with a hare's ear thorax. So if you're going to tie a style of fly tie on a very popular nymph, anyway, the pheasant tail nymph, you can't go far wrong. So basically what I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually start in line. There's a hackle goes in front, there's a bit of thorax goes here, a bit of hackle in front, so you're really putting the beads at a centre, middle, about there. So use that as a guide, so take that away. And then what I'm going to do, I forgot to lift out my copper wire, just a sec. Now, just to protect the body I'm going to be using, obviously it's a pheasant tail body and I need a copper wire. Now I'm just going to use like a fine, just like a normal extra small or a small copper wire. I could have used the thread, but best do the wire to make it last a wee tad longer. So on the way down we tie this in. To that point I've got some natural pheasant tail, which this is going to be the actual body and the thorax cover, so bring out a good half dozen fibres, just line the ends up, just by bringing them 90 degrees from the stem of the feather, and just hold the thicker part of the fibre right at the base. And then what we want to do is come round with a turn, and then when we pull it into the tips, just a single turn, but keep the pressure on the thread obviously, and then wind up. And then, being the weakest fibre, I wind this towards myself because the wire will cross rib it and hold. But what I want to do is slightly build up the body. Need to get a reasonable body in this, so we get this caddis-like taper right up to our thread. So once we get to the top here, we want to come over with a turn onto the hook to lock it in. The reason I've got to do that is because obviously I'm winding, counter winding towards it, or winding the opposite way of winding my thread. Now, we could keep this as the thorax cover, or we could add in some new stuff, the remains of this. To make it a wee bit cleaner, I could just take it away. So just take it off. We've got plenty of pheasant tail fibre there, so just make sure that's tidy. Then we want to bring our rib up the normal way, same way we wind our thread, which is cross ribbing the pheasant tail fibre and protecting it. Just wind it up, nice and tight, make sure it's secure. Bend and break away. Now we need to put the thorax cover over, so I'm going back to my pheasant tail. Again, much about the same with the thorax, good. And I count the fibres here, 2, 4, maybe 8 or so. Now what I'm going to do is use a 2/3, so I'm going to take away the tips, we don't need the tips. A wee bit of wax on my thread here, just catch it. Always watch where you are. Now what you've got to do to get this fly is you need to build the thorax up so that it comes over the top of the bead. Remember you've got obviously a hackle to tie in here. So I'm going to put some, I'm just going to use this is the full mill, if I can get the name, it's called Nymph Flash. It's a light hare's ear, it's just got a nice wee bit of flash through it. It's just a new dubbing, I just got it, so I'm trying it out, see what it's like. And it suits the fly. So I'm just going to lightly dub it on. And then basically just get my thorax, it's quite heavy here. It's to suit the fly, you need to obviously get it to come onto the bead. You can always push the bead up, see where you are, and check it. Just winding through it a wee bit just to tighten it up. Once I'm happy, then I can take away the excess. Now, there's a couple of ways to get in front of the bead now, is just basically to bring the thread straight up and then bring the thread over the top, keeping your fingers on the side, and then put your thread there. You see there's a single thread turnover which is going to hold it. I mean, if that breaks, then the rest of your fly will fall apart, so you basically, well, that's my feeling anyway. I'd rather just tie off and tie on in front. So if I just put a wee bit of varnish on my thread, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, take that away, so that's got the varnish on it, so it's nice and tight. So then put my thread back on front, and then just use the thread to push it up against the dubbing. Take away my thread, on my waist anyway. Just going to lightly bring out some of the dubbing here. We'll see how it develops, because as I say, this is going to be, I've looked on the internet, I looked at a couple of tie-ins, get the gist of basically what it's about. Now, the thorax cover is brought normally over forward, kind of over the front first, and then the hackle's put on most. Now what I'm going to do that, just a wee touch of, I'm actually going to put a wee touch of varnish right on the top here. And what that's going to do is basically stick the pheasant tail to the top, tighten it up, 2 or 3 turns, trim this away. Nice base of thread down that you want. Wax on your thread. Now I'm going to use, to get a nice fine, this is the head of the partridge. I love these wee feathers, and basically the top of the head. If you've got these, use them up, because they're really nice and soft. Got a lovely colour as well, and for this size of fly it suits. So we don't need to take the fluff away. You can use that as a wee bit of grip, but what I'm going to do is locate the tip of the feather just by using my hackle pliers. Just do that, trim it, give it wax, 3 turns just to secure it, and then I'm going to wind a couple of turns anyway, see what it's like. Draw it back. I mean, it's a heavy dress wee fly, so, but very popular. Geez, I couldn't believe the number of patterns and info on the actual fly. So we obviously cut it in with a couple of turns, take away your hackle pliers, just draw it back, fold it back, form a small head with the thread. I usually just ignore things at this point, put a wee bit of varnish on my thread. If you can whip finish with a wee touch of varnish on the thread, it's very rarely, I've never seen a whip finish come loose after doing it. Because it's solid. Obviously trim away your thread. Just come in, you can either, I usually pinch it off, but anyway I'll trim it away. And there we are. And that's the Holy Grail nymph. Pheasant tail. Looks alright. Certainly catch fish. I can see why it's very popular. I mean, it's gives the impression of quite a few nymphs, a few bugs, wee caddis, things like that. That seems to work. Look, it looks good. I'll probably add a few of them to my box, just try them out. So I will. Anyway, there we are. That's my very first go at the Holy Grail nymph. With obviously wee tungsten bead. It'll certainly go down, and plenty of movement in it, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and again, thanks for watching.